Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Bucks lose it 126-113. Shorthanded Bucks lose it 126-113 to the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are up 3-1 in the series. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all of our scripts. He gives us our medicine in our room. We are live. It's the Cream City crossover. It's the Guru Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris King.
Bucks lose tonight, fellas. 126-113. If you want to get at me on the Twitter at TCIIIESQ, give me your thoughts. Chat, what up, chat? We can talk to you from there as well. But tonight, man, the Bucks, the Bucks just don't have enough. And that's what happened tonight. That's the end of the story. I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of people, you may not be in the room right now. You're coming in the room. We welcome you. If this is your first time watching the Cream City crossover, appreciate you. Come on in the room. And again, if you're not, if you're a fan and you listen to the show, if you're an Indiana fan, whatever, come on in the room. All of you are very welcome. But, and I know a lot of people watch this on the replay, so I'll start it off like this. I'm not impressed by Indiana. Indiana don't move me. Nothing they've done, and none of what they've done has moved me at all. And I'm not jealous. I'm not bitter. I quite frankly, what the old movie, JT, quite frankly, my darling, I don't give a damn. What is that? Casablanca? Is that the movie? Is that where it's from? I can't remember. But again, tonight, and we'll get into everything. I will have some words for Mr. One Bobby Portis, and I don't care. Whoever want to talk about it and his family can come holler at me because he's a jackass. I mean, that's the end of the story. Bobby Portis is a jackass. But we'll get to him in a second. I say Indiana doesn't move me because, again, you beat tonight. And I give a lot of credit to the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, you ran out of gas. You don't have enough guys, right? You just don't have enough bodies that can play. And I think tonight was an example of you have Chris, and even Chris Middleton, he's on one leg. But tonight is an example of when you have a group of players, when you're out Giannis, you're out Dame, you have a group of guys that on the offensive side of the ball, they really can't create. So you have a bunch of guys that can't create any movement at all for themselves, any shots for themselves at all, outside of Chris and Brook a little bit. And then defensively, for as good as Brook Lopez was offensively, I think he finished with 27 points. For as good as Brook Lopez was offensively, defensively, he just hurts you. I mean, he absolutely hurts you. And we'll get into it, but this is a little bit of what Adrian Griffin was trying to prepare for throughout the season. You've watched the Bucks lose over and over and over again in the playoffs because they gave up too many threes, and you saw what Indiana did tonight. And again, part of the reason Brook Lopez camping out in the paint, Brook Lopez was responsible for a ton of rotational issues tonight. I don't want to put it all on him because I know he had a good night offensively, but but again, those are some of the problems you have. You don't have Giannis to cover up any of it, and so again, Indiana, congratulations for finally being able to get rid of the Bucks. I thought the Pacers should have won that game in much easier fashion. I don't know how the game was like a 4-point game at the half, or I think it was a 3-point game at the half. It was tied after the first quarter. Even in the third, they got up 10, and then actually the Bucks played a draw in the fourth. So I thought, again, Indiana did what they needed to do, but really the third quarter is what was the separator, and the Pacers finish out and they win by 13. But let's do it. Let's get into all of that talk and discussion. We'll take your comments as well in the chat in a few as well. But, we got to do the game recap, sponsored as always by who?
Law Officer Daly M. Johnson. When you need defense off the court.
Woo, yes, Lord, we need defense off the court because the Bucks provided none on the court. Gave up 3 after 3 after 3. Again, a lot of that scheme because of the personnel. But the Law Officer Daly M. Johnson need defense off the court. Criminal defense, trafficking, OWI defense, TROs, and injunctions. Call the Law Officer Daly M. Johnson 608-893-8370.
70.
www.dmjlaw.com and sign up for a free phone or in-person consultation with Daly M. Johnson. He's located at 411 West Main Street, Suite 110 in Madison, Wisconsin, serving Central and South Central and Southeastern Wisconsin. I gotta get that right. Listen, folks, the game recap. Brook Lopez, 27, 9 boards. He was 12 of 18. Again, great night offensively for him. Shot 66% from the field. He was a -7. Malik Beasley, finally, Mr. Beasley showing up. 20 points tonight, 3 boards, 2 assists. He was 8 for 12, 4 7 from 3. And Patrick Beverley, 9 points, 4 assists. Patrick Beverley was a little hobbled throughout the game. I thought, again, I give a lot of credit to Chris Middleton. He's an absolute warrior. 25, 10, and 5. He was 9 of 22. He got hurt during the game, didn't hit a 3, was 7-8 from the free throw line, did have 4 turnovers. But again, Chris battled all night long, hurt. So I give him some credit. Oh, and then the other starter was Bobby Portis. He put up 4 points and 3 boards. And if you didn't watch the game, you're wondering, like, damn, how did he only put up 4 points and 3 rebounds with no Giannis? What the hell happened? Well, he was a jackass and got himself ejected. Pushing guy again. I don't want to call him. I don't think he's a fake tough guy, but he's an idiot. He's a mental midget. There's no reason that you do some of the things that you do. You know, y'all. You should be. I mean, just. I know y'all gonna pause me for y'all give me the ditty. You should be licking your lips and salivating at the opportunity in front of you because you have nobody there. No, Giannis. You start, man. This is your opportunity, right? In a game like this, no Damian Lillard. Ain't nobody can take a shot from you tonight. Nobody can take a shot from you. This is your moment to shine, and you gave it up because you wanted to fight. You ready to fight, people. The rest of your teammates, and again, shout out to again the rest of the Bucks. The team is fighting to win a game, and you just fighting for no damn reason at all. I mean, it was a regular season style ejection for Bobby Portis, where I mean, he got tangled up underneath. What was it? Nimhard he got tangled up with, or was it Neesmith? He gets tangled up with Nimhard, and then you get the tech for that. Then you shoving people, pulling people by the head. Like, what are you doing, dog? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, it was a very again. That's something you do in the regular season, and that's something you do in December, January. You do that. That's kind of I get ejected. You don't do that in the playoffs when you're already missing your best player, you're missing your second best player, and your third best player is on a hobbled leg. Like, that was just totally. It was a selfish moment for Bobby Portis. It was lame. It was whack. All of the above. And again, he gets himself kicked out of the game. So yeah, only has himself. And you know what? But I blame him. But I also blame him. Don't worry, I got more words for him when we come up on the segment too. But the other people I blame is the Milwaukee Bucks. You Bucks fans, the crowd, because you pump his head up every time he does that stupid. Every time he flexing around, y'all, Bobby, stop that shit. Stop it. I don't want to hear that. I'll save it for the segment. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. When he come back game 5, I don't want to hear. None of that Bobby stuff, dog. I don't care if he puts up 50 points. I don't want to hear none of it. Put it up in silence. Patrick. PC, get him out of here too. He sucks. 4 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. Andre Jackson Jr. almost messed around, got a triple-double, y'all. 6 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. Very good night. He's a +9 on the game night. The only complaint I have from Doc Rivers is that Andre Jackson Jr. did not play more. AJ Green, 8 points, 3 boards tonight, and Jay Crowder, 2 points. And how about Mr. Mohawk? I thought he played okay. Danilo Gallinari came in and did some things. 6 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. On the Indiana side of things, Halliburton 24, 4 and 4. I think he had a decent night because Patrick Beverley was hurt. Nimhard 15, 9 and 3. Miles Turner was the big target tonight. Hit a bunch of threes, 29 points. He was 10 of 17, 7 of 9 from 3. Again, Miles Turner just killed the Bucks. The Bucks did figure out the Pascal Siakam thing. He had a nice all-around game, 13, 9 and 7. Neesmith with 13 and 3. Again, all 5 starters in double digits. And Obi Toppin with 13. TJ McConnell 8 as well to round things out again for Indiana. But yeah, man, again, this game, a lot of heart, a lot of fight shown by the Bucks. So again, I appreciate it. We'll talk about where this leads the Bucks and where they're going to go from here. But down 3-1 in the series. But I thought they fought. And I thought they fought hard. And I thought Chris did as much as he could do. And again, this came down to, I think they talked about it a lot on the broadcast as well, getting stops. And the Bucks were just unable to get the stops they needed. And a lot of times it was because of the 3. Do one more stat here. The Indiana Pacers were 22 of 43 from 3, 51%. Bucks were 12 of 33. Like that, the game was lost. The game was lost. They had a +10. They had a 30-point advantage. I think if you're +10, yeah, they had a 30-point advantage from 3. Like that was the game. They hit their threes. again, I don't want to blame Brook Lopez. I talked about that earlier. I don't want to blame Brook Lopez too much, but he was out of position. But again, and I don't know how Doc would have handled it, but maybe you could have had some moments where Bobby was your 5 and Andre Jackson Jr. was your 4, something like that. But you couldn't do. Doc was limited. Like, he had to play Brook Lopez because this time, you legitimately had no bigs. You had no bigs you could play. So again, I can't really blame Doc Rivers because his idiot players decided not to play. So again, it was 126-113. Lot to talk about, lot to discuss. That's a little of what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
Man, I'll hold off on the Bobby talk, right? But I got to tell you, that first half, I was very proud of the way this team fought, of the way these guys came out and did this thing in the aggregate, where you saw Beasley had like 10 or 11 points in that first half, between Beasley, Middleton, Brook, everybody coming out chipping in, Pat Bev, everybody chipping in and doing their part in the first half, especially after you lost Bobby. I looked at this and I said, wow, this might get out of hand in a hurry. And this Bucks team, they showed up, they fought, they kept fighting. They go into the half down 3 in a game that was a track meet when you don't even have your horses out there, right? If it's a relay team, you got your alternates out there. You got 3 alternates on the 4 alternates on the your B squad out there technically. But to watch this team out there competing, to watch just Chris Middleton, to watch these guys out there scrapping, I love it. I love to see it. It got chippy, right? 5 techs in that first quarter. Boy, that is something. And I didn't like some of the inconsistency with the refereeing, right? Okay, yeah, I get it. The 2 small celebrations are a bit childish. But with guys on both sides, you got to call that, right? If guys on both sides are doing this kind of stuff, you got to call that. You can't just arbitrarily deciding when you want to enforce that. I don't like that. That's a bad look, right? But there's bad blood between these 2 teams. And even that second half, I thought the Bucks battled. Now, the third quarter, the first part of that third quarter, again, I don't know what it is. What are we doing at halftime? We just eating, like you said, eating oranges. We eating oranges, right? Folks taking Gatorade bottles to the head. I don't really know. But we do seem to be, again, we just seem to be a little bit a little sleepy coming out that for the first half of that third quarter. It's just kind of a thing. But to watch how we ended that, we ended that on a 14-3 run. The end of the third quarter, we were battling. We were down 6. This team, they just did not stop competing. I thought Brook Lopez did look good tonight offensively. I love what I was seeing from Brook Lopez offensively. It was just defensively, looking out of position, step slow, lack of overall aggression. It just and tonight was one of the nights where I was looking at Brook and I was like, man, are the physical skills just diminishing, right? Like, just from looking at him here, because we talk about scheme, we talk about what he can and can't do, but it was just noticeable. It was noticeable tonight, especially watching him play defense. A couple of other things, man. So Halliburton, clap. All right. You had your playoff career high. It's not 24 points. Great, right? He talks. You would think Halliburton was in the Hall of Fame the way this guy acts, but again, like you said, I think you called it out too. He's celebrating. He in everybody's face. He's fired up when he's doing well. And when he's not doing well, he's in his feelings, right? He's playing to the ref. He's running around. It's an interesting character, man. Interesting team to watch. But yeah, glad to see that we did neutralize Siakam. And my guess is at this point, right, you're not going to see another 20-point first half from him. I think he just was hot 2 games and it was what it was. Having said that, though, between McConnell and Halliburton, right? Your hands are going to be full here because now Pat Bev is hobbled. I think is Pat Bev hurt? He looks like he's hobbled.
He was definitely. I don't know what the official designation is for him, but yeah, he was definitely limping around and hobbled out there.
Yeah, so now, I think you probably have some concerns in this next game here because Pat Bev had done such a great job on Halliburton throughout this series, and the question now you do wonder is, okay, so coming back into this next game, right? We got to have Giannis, we got to have Dame. If we have Giannis, I think Dame is done, and I think that's the right move to make at this point. That injury doesn't make sense. How are you going to say, well, it's a pain tolerance thing, he can't injure it anymore? That makes 0 sense. So they're not being forthright or something because. I think it's pretty common knowledge. If your Achilles is partially torn, you 100% can completely rupture that if that's what's going on here. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what the deal is with Dame, but like what the deal is with Dame's injury. But I think Dame has done enough, and I certainly think that at this point you have to hold him out. Like you can't. Why would you risk playing him the next game and potentially rupturing that Achilles tendon? Because now you're possibly looking at a 2-year window, right? A year to probably recover, and then it's probably going to take a while for him to be him after that as well. So we're in a bad spot, backs against the wall this next game. I mean, these guys got to come out swinging because we're playing for the season now. And I can't believe we're in this spot, but it's where we're at this point.
Yeah, and I think for me, there's not too much analyzing you can do about this game just because of the injuries. Felt like you almost lost it when the news broke yesterday. But look, I thought some of the same problems we had all regular season keep creeping up, and it's just nobody's able to hit that big shot when you cut it to 6. Nobody's able to get back in transition. Obi Toppin's out running the floor after we score a bucket. Like, stuff like that has just been awful all season. It came back, and I think it's come back a lot throughout this series. Rotations on defense. Nobody was there. That's why they had so many threes. It was raining threes from those guys, and that's pretty much what I saw from the game in itself. It was nice to see Beasley actually show up a little bit. I don't care what he did on defense, but the 20 points was good to see. I mean, I wish he would have shot more, honestly, because we had Pat Connaughton out there missing open ones, AJ Green missing open ones. So, but that's neither here nor there. That's very minute. So, yeah, I mean, it's just tough. It's a tough spot to be in. And you just kind of feel dejected after a loss like that with no superstars on your team. Nobody can step up and hit the big shots in big moments, and this is what you get.
I don't know. I mean, I know, and shout out to a new subscriber, Mo Cheeks. What up, Mo Cheeks? Subscribing to the Cream City crossover. But I don't necessarily feel. Trying to think, is dejected the word I would use? I don't know. I mean, it's tough. It is tough when you're losing games. You don't have your stars. But again, I thought the guys played well, man. I really do. I really thought they did all that they could. And again, it's one of those moments where when you don't have your guys, you don't have guys that can move the ball. You don't have guys. I mean, even Pat Bev, right? Like when even Pat Bev in limited mobility, he can move the ball and get around and actually create things and create plays. And you don't even have him at 100%. So I don't know if the Bucks strength and conditioning team, I don't know what the issue is, but it sucked. But it does suck to see the season come down to injuries, more so even than 2022 and 2023, because at least last year, at least Giannis was out there, right? And you lose that one. And again, that probably pissed me off even worse. This, there's, like you said, there's nothing you could do. Like, what do you do about this? Like, I mean, maybe I don't want to say the happiest person. Doc might be the happiest person because again, you can't blame this on him now. There's like he gets no. You have to give Doc Rivers a pass for this. Like, there's nothing you can say about him. And as a matter of fact, I think his gameplay, he's done as much as you could do at all to get to the point that they got to. So again, I think that from my perspective, I thought they played very well. It just, again, you just don't have enough, and you would have come out better not having to play Brook Lopez. But again, offensively play well, and defensively, just you're almost playing 4 and 5 out there. He's again one of those things again where he's pointing at people places to go, but he's not there. And if it's Andre Jackson Jr. can't get off the screens like you want him to, all the things that add up to just a bunch of wide open 3-point shots. Let's get to Bobby Portis. Let's talk about Bobby because I want to get there. What did you guys think when you saw? And I want to ask the chat too what they thought about Bobby Portis and like just how stupid of a move that was. Like, what are you actually thinking, dude? Like, I for the life of me, I mean, again, you get tangled up, and then do you realize he was the only one doing that? Nobody else. You realize there are people that are involved in this situation, getting in the scrum, and again, and just shows you the bonehead stupidity of it, because everybody else had the self-restraint. Everybody else knew it ain't worth it. Like you talked about, JT. Maybe if it's at the defense of a teammate, maybe if something dirty has happened, maybe nothing happened. I mean, this was a regular old little dust up. It was. I mean, this was like. It was just like, and it got tangled up. Like, there was no reason to react like that. But we pump his head up all year long with the Bobby stuff. And it's, oh, yeah, I knock guys out. Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm Bobby Portis. I let a naysayer know. That's by, and so now you sitting out there and you can't play the rest of the game because you acted a fool. I mean, it was. But my thing is this: you can't even. Here's where I'm at with it. I'm not saying again. I think I wanted him gone in the middle of the season, right? Like I want him traded. I feel even more emboldened by that it was a mistake not to get rid of him in the middle of the season. But when you do things like that, like don't you think? I mean, you just let everybody down. Like, why are you here? If you don't want to play basketball, why are you here?
I mean, here's my thing, right? I feel like, and I would, I agree with you. Again, if let's say someone had pushed Chris, right? Let's say someone had taken a cheap shot at Pat Bev, and Bobby got into the mix. That's different because you're defending your team, you're defending your teammate, and you fight, and guys will get fired up and get energized over this. This was like some old ticky. I don't know what this was. I'm not really sure. Somebody had their hands. Like Bobby had his hand on the man's chin or neck or whatever. Then, he shoved him. Then Bobby shoved him. I don't know if he mushed him. I couldn't really tell what that was. But it's just one of those things where it's like, how do you lose your cool at this point? And you're a 10-year vet, bro. You're a 10-year vet. Like this, you're not a rookie. The moment's not too big for you. You're an NBA champion. You got experience, and this is what the Pacers are doing. So just feel like, some point, cooler heads got to prevail. You got to have the ability to walk away. You got to have the ability to get away from this. I thought it was a bit goofy though that the refs didn't call anything on. Was it Nemard? Was it Nemard or?
I think it was Nemard.
Nemard. Yeah, I thought it was a bit goofy that the refs didn't call anything on him, but
they did give him a tech. They did give him a tech. They just didn't give him 2 techs because he wasn't out there pushing everybody.
Well, he got a tech. Right.
And Bobby could have got one too. Bobby wanted to be a double asshole and start hitting everybody out on the floor. That's the difference. Is Nembhard knew, hey, I'm tangled up, get up off me, and we good. We can do the wolf tickets. But Bobby Portis thinks it's fight night.
Was about to be about that action. And the thing is,
he think it's the NHL. We think we're going to be a line shift. It's a 5-minute warning. Get your ass out of here, man. Bobby, he deserved that ejection.
Listen, man, we knew Bobby's about that action. Bobby been about that action since he was with the Bulls when he let Buddy know on his own team. So
right, and you do that in practice. Do it in practice. Don't do it in game 4 when you're down 2-1.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, so we don't need the theatrics. You don't got to prove to us that you're a tough guy. We know you're a tough guy. We 100% know. But I just feel like at this point, what you did was irresponsible, and you let your team down. You left your team out there to dry because you weren't out there with them competing. You got ejected 3 minutes into that. Was it 3-4 minutes into that first quarter? And it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. And I mean, hopefully he'll be back. He'll be back the next game. But no, it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary, and you combine tonight with Friday night, it just makes Friday night's loss really more painful because that was a game we certainly could have won. And it's a different conversation if it's 2-2 right now.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm along the same lines as Trey. Just the fact that, look, I don't even know if he wanted to be out there. He missed the first couple shots that he took in the game, and after that, it just felt like, okay, when you got ejected. I mean, he probably didn't do it on purpose or anything, but like, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him because that's just who Bobby Portis is, dog. Like it was very boneheaded. It was dumb. It was stupid I mean, bro, you had an opportunity to shut these guys up for 3 games now, and you want to do it like that? This is not going to work. So yeah, I don't know. Just dumb stuff.
It was incredibly selfish, and again, I don't think it was like one of those things. I don't think that's what he was thinking because again, I don't think he thinks. So I don't think it was. Oh, I'm ready to get and take a shot. But it looked like one of those. Yeah, I don't feel like being out here moments, and it was whack. Let me ask this. So Mark Gomez wanted to ask, do you think he should have been ejected? Do you think that was enough to warrant 2 techs? And I'll say this, I don't know. I think it was close, but here's the thing: you don't give the opportunities. You don't give the officials the opportunity to eject you. Like I think it was borderline whether it should have been just 1 tech and hey, let's not throw him out of the game. But But the reason he wouldn't have been thrown, because we're like this in the regular season, 100% that should have been ejection, 100%. Maybe in the playoffs, if you take context into perspective, knowing there's no Giannis. Could you maybe let him stay in the game? But that would be the only reason. Otherwise, I mean, I couldn't be too mad at it. it probably should have been an ejection. But context-wise, I could see how you wouldn't do it. But I mean, again, because you look at the Embiid play the other night where he pulled Mitchell Robinson. That should have been a flagrant 2 and an ejection. I think the refs decided, hey, that's a superstar. We're not going to kick him out of the game. But again, Bobby Portis, you got to know, number one, you're not a superstar. You're not that guy. Somebody said, I think it was Chud in the chat said he should be talking about Iron Man class said, Mayor of Milwaukee, my ass. And Chud said, Mayor of the prison yard. So that's like that. I mean, I can't get mad at that kind of stuff on a night like tonight. But do you think what he did warranted the ejection?
I think I mean, you didn't have to. My only thing when it comes to whether that warrants, I think you have to have a bit more of an objective criteria when you're going to do this. Because again, you're letting some stuff go, you're not letting some stuff go. I guess Bobby did kind of swing on him, and that'll get you out, right? What was that, like some sort of mush? I mean, I guess I gotta look at it again, but yeah, it looked like Bobby kind of swung. So
he had the Juwan Howard on Greg Gard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, right? I guess technically if that's the rule, but again, arbitrary enforcement, I'm not about that. Like, it was just dumb. Just a goofy play, just a foolish moment. And I mean, some people may say, well, okay, what impact was Bobby going to have? I mean, you could argue that, but Bobby's a key contributor, and this is a must-win game. Like, this is a must-win. You need all your horses. Without Dame and Giannis, you're looking at aggregate contributions here. So basically, the sum of all your remaining players, and Bobby 100% would have contributed to that. So, yeah, Bobby's a player who could go off for 20 plus. There's no question about that. Like, Bobby could have 100% done that, and that, I mean,
absolutely,
yeah. So.
And again, he's a little more agile and mobile than Brook Lopez. So you could have had those moments again where Bobby could have been on the floor at your 5, and Andre Jackson Jr. could have been on the floor at your 4, and you maybe could have defended Indiana a little bit better from the 3-point line because he could move out there just a little bit better than Brook Lopez. But Doc Rivers didn't have the option to do it. Like, he literally had to play Brook Lopez as much as he did. Because there was no Bobby Portis. So, again, all those contributed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it warrants an ejection, but the thing is, for me, I feel like Bobby was acting like he needed to prove something, and that's not going to win you games. That's not the best for the team. That was obviously a selfish move on his part. And I think what really started the whole thing is, like, they got tied up, and Bobby wasn't willing to just let go and get down the court. Like, and that's your problem there. I think that's more important than if he got ejected or not. It's just like it was stupid. It was dumb. But yeah, I mean, it happened. It is what it is. On to game 4. I mean, 5.
Shout out to Loretta Lee, subscribing to the channel here, subscribing to the Cream City crossover. Again, get the likes up. We appreciate it. Let's go to the chat. And of course, the chat, as we know, is sponsored by Autograph and the Autograph app. I think Chris is going to put everything in the where it needs to be. But again, the Autograph app, it's a one-stop shop to get everything you want. It's where real fans get unreal rewards by bringing the best content for your team into one place. Autograph is the first app that can recognize and reward fans, turning their passion into access and experience. You can read articles from your favorite team's blogs, publishers directly on the app. We are on the app. Go to the Autograph app. We'll have a link in the chat here. And again, if you go to that Autograph app, you go to the chat and get to that link. You put in our referral code, Cream City Crossover. You have a chance to win tickets, win prizes, all that good stuff. Go to the Autograph app. And again, the referral code is Cream City Crossover. How many spaces in there, JT? No space. No space. We ain't give you no space. No space, Cream City Crossover. Do that right there. Let's go to the chat and see what these guys are talking about. I want to go down. Let's stay with some of the stuff here. Q Money Adventure says if this was Draymond, the world would be more forgiving. What? The world will be more forgiving? No, people hate the world will be more forgiving for Draymond Green. Didn't Draymond Green just get suspended this year already? Give me a break. Y'all act like he ignited the tussle. Again, it's not about whether you ignited it. And again, and hold on. You know Bobby Portis, like, if give me somebody else. If AJ Green got into something with somebody, I'd say, you know what? AJ Green probably didn't start that. AJ Green probably got caught up in a minute. don't give me Bobby. You act like Bobby Portis is always in the middle of stuff. Don't act like he's not into it and starting stuff. I disagree with that. When we go, I don't know if Bobby definitely, whether he ignited or not, he was a part of it. No, he has no benefit of the doubt.
But to be fair, Bobby is way more disciplined than Draymond Green is. 100% way more disciplined than Draymond Green.
Yeah, but and he's also not as good. And Draymond Green's also way better than him. Way better than
defense.
Him. At a lot of things. As a playmaker. Yeah, the only thing Bobby can do better.
At this point in Draymond's career, I don't know. Okay,
no, I would 100% take Draymond Green. If I could trade Draymond for Bobby Portis right now, I'd do it easily. Come on.
If you're weighing the defensive contributions, yes, I would say that.
And that's why I think that, again, because Todd Merrill's talking about the trade kicker and all the stuff about Bobby Portis. You can absolutely trade Bobby Portis because, again, there are a lot of teams that Bobby Portis works on. There are a ton of teams that Bobby Portis works on. That's why he worked on that 21 team. Because, again, if you have Bobby Portis on a team that has defense and has all those things that are good, once you bring Damian Lillard in and once you start making this team and you don't have a defensive identity at all, Bobby Portis is not as good. Again, and tonight's an exception, but I'm talking about when the team is fully healthy. Bobby Portis is not as needed when you already have offense. You'd rather have people that come in and play defense on this team versus somebody that can put another. I don't need another 15 points. I need somebody to come in and stop somebody. I need somebody to come in and make good rotations. Bobby Portis, I'm not saying he's not needed, but he could, again, so when we talk about can you trade Bobby Portis, what can you get for Bobby Portis, I think there are a ton of teams that could 100% use the shooting and the offense and the spacing that Bobby Portis provides. I'm not saying the Bucks can't use it. I'm just saying that we have bigger holes to fill than what Bobby Portis provides. So I don't think you lose a ton if you got rid of Bobby Portis in the offseason. And I 100% will be looking at getting rid of Bobby Portis in the offseaant. So that's why PJ Washington was on the table for the Bucks. That's why the Bucks were looking at a guy like Grant Williams. And again, it didn't get done. The move didn't get done, but that's why those rumors were out there. Again, think about what PJ Washington provides, rebounding, defense. Think about what and the occasional three-pointer. Think about what Grant Williams provides, the occasional three-pointer, corner three, whatever, and then hard-nosed defense. Think about those things. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're thinking about when you talk about trading Bobby Portis. And again, I think there are a ton of teams that could use what Bobby Portis provides. He doesn't suck by any stretch of the imagination, but you could definitely get rid of him.
I can get there with PJ Washington. I cannot get there with Grant Williams.
Well, damn it.
Not at all. Hell no. Bobby Portis to Grant Williams is a terrible trade for the Bucks. That's a bad trade for the Bucks.
Why?
Hell no.
Well,
Bobby for Grant Williams.
Grant Williams would be playing right now. Grant Williams would have been in the game. I know that. Grant Williams would have been playing. I got this idiot sitting in the showers. Grant Williams would have been playing. Right now, I'd have done that. I wish they did.
Okay, well, tonight, fine.
Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about no Bobby. J1, kick that Bobby mess out the chat. I don't want to hear no Bobby Portis. I don't want to hear nothing about no Bobby, bro. I don't want to hear it. I swear I don't want to hear nothing about no Bobby Portis, man. I don't want to hear about no Bobby Portis, man. You make me want to cuss, man. Y'all really are.
Well, and I mean, it was tough to be rumored to all of those players and just sit on it, right? Like just nothing. And we saw Dallas obtain Daniel Gafford. We saw them get PJ as well, and look what they're doing. It's just very tough because that was something we had advocated right as the deadline hit, right before the deadline. We're like, all right, this might be the time. He did pick up his consistency a little bit, but what does that matter if you just don't want to stay on the court? It's in a crucial moment like that, crucial game. It's just, I don't
know. Let's keep going to chat. Sponsored by Autograph. Better Have Your Facts. This is another, man. Y'all got some terribles. Who's in the chat today? Better Have Facts says ducking the 76ers and the Heat, sitting out a dude who should be out there balling. I don't respect that. I'd rather get beat than duck. Ducking just started this year. What the hell are you talking about? The Bucks did not duck anybody. They were trash. The Bucks did not duck anybody. They did not play well at the end of the year. They were not ducking. They just weren't good. Greg Carson says, "Good job, Bobby." For what? What are you talking about? Like, where are we getting these people from? I like the channel growing, but what the hell is going on with these people? Where are we getting these people from, Chris? God, I'm about to cuss again. Then Better Have Your Facts says, he's talking about Damian Lillard. You injured your Achilles, but you still continue playing. Excuses. What? He couldn't move.
Dame couldn't. Dame, and honestly, in a very selfless move, Dame wanted to be out there because he wanted to be a decoy.
Right.
Dame was out there. Dame was hobbled. Dame couldn't even. He really couldn't even move. He could. And to get out there and be like, no, I want to be out there with my guys and be a decoy and try to help this team win. Man, we putting respect on Dame's name. There would be no Damian Lillard slander here. No, not after the way this man has stepped up and played for this series, and not after this man has come out and said he wants to be here in Milwaukee, quieted all the noise, and try to play out there on one leg to help his team win, with knowing that his Achilles is busted. Nah, man, y'all ain't gonna disrespect Dame. We're not doing that.
And I bet you Dame comes back out and plays game 5. I bet you does. Mustafa Hassan says Bobby Butthead Portis. Green Ranger says, damn, we should have traded Bobby. One Punch Man says Bobby begged to stay on the team because he makes more money from UW Credit Union and Wisconsin tourism commercials. Bobby can't make Wisconsin money in Georgia. Al Farouk Aminu for 3 says, well, we'll talk about that in a second here, Al Farouk. He says, do we go for broke next game playing Giannis and Dame, or do the Bucks wave the white flag? Let's talk about that on next segment. Terrence Hughes says Bobby needs to get traded. Patsy and Crowder gave us nothing. Brooke Lopez was just looking at people shooting threes. Our only hope is if Giannis comes back. If not, I guess I got to watch the Brewers. Let's keep going here. Chud says somehow get a capable 2-guard and let AJ back it up. Other than that, we can't run it back with a nursing home roster. Iron Man Clan TV says horse seat is on fire. Couple more. James Henderson says Bobby had a Draymond moment. And then Mark Gomes says, no Giannis, Dame, Bobby. Pat Bev is clearly injured, and it's a new injury, not his wrist. Bucks are still within striking distance. They can still win the series. And then I'll do one more here. Q Money Venture says, Dame played only one good game, and all of a sudden it's all praises. Did we not forget about all the other games? What other games? I thought to me, Dame played 2 really good games, right?
They played. The first 2 games in the playoffs, and then and played his
well, game 3
but he was injured. That's what I'm saying. And again, I think I said the good majority of Bucks fans, all we care about is the playoffs. I mean, we care a little bit of the regular season, right, to get there, but we've already said that what Dame has done in this Pacers series 100% overshadows anything in the regular season, because when it was go time and we really needed, he came through. So yeah. I don't care at all about what Dame did in the regular season at this point.
Yeah, Chris, you got anything?
No, you're good. I mean,
but yeah, no, Dame 100%. He proved himself in the playoffs. Again, did he have some issues in the regular season? Yeah, I mean, obviously he didn't play as well as he wanted to. But Dame, unlike a lot of guys on this team that we've seen so far, is a playoff riser. He is 100% a playoff riser, and I think moving forward, that's what we can expect. Todd Merrill says Siakam has been better than Dame. No, I just totally disagree. Totally disagree. When we say better than Dame, game 1, he was not. Game 2, again, you can make the argument that it was close, but Dame was clearly better playing game 1. You can't say it was just overall better. And then in game 3, both Damian Lillard and Chris Middleton were better than Siakam. So I 100% disagree. This is a dumbass comment from T-Matt Sports World. He says, y'all wasn't complaining about injuries in 2021. BS. Nets stop crying. Same shit. Make you laugh, make you cry. Shut up, T-Matt. Shut up. Because again, we just talked about that. That's incorrect. Because what you said was the injuries in 2021. The difference between the injuries in 2021 to the Brooklyn Nets and the injuries to the Milwaukee Bucks, in case my memory has erased me or escaped me, the Brooklyn Nets had their best player on the floor. The Milwaukee Bucks do not. So what are we even talking about? Todd says he outscored Dame in both games by 1 point. Is that what you're basing who the best player off was? Well, he was better because he scored 1 more point. I think game 1 he scored 36 and Dame scored 35. Oh well, come on. Seth Man says the comment section stinks today. It absolutely does. What the hell is going on? Yeah, I gotta go to Twitter. What the hell's going? I don't know what the hell's going on here. I gotta go to Twitter, fam. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, dog. Y'all tripping. This is unhinged right now. Go say something before I get to the Twitter chat. I don't know. Y'all go wherever y'all want to go with this till I get to Twitter. Anybody? Okay.
No,
Never mind.
I got
Go
it.
ahead. Go.
No, I mean you just look at the Nets and Bucks, and it's two different things. Come on now, you can't even lie to yourself and act like that's even remotely close. You had KD at least out there, able to be the best player on the floor.
Back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and sometimes KD was the best player on the floor in those moments. So, yeah, not the same.
You know the good news about these YouTube comments? At least we haven't had nobody say nudes in bio.
Well,
that seems to be a very, very popular comment on the chat with the X or the formerly known as Twitter app, where it's funny because you'll be battling with people, then some random bot will be like, see my, letters spelled out here in bio. It's like, wow. Yes, so at least in the chat, it's just discourse, right? There's a little bit of nonsense in there in the YouTube chat, but hasn't been interrupted by AI. Images
has not been interrupted by the AI but we are gonna go to Elon Musk and see what we have here on the Twitter at Mikey Rocks Lane, because again we just had to get rid of YouTube. Someone needs to press Doc on why Giannis was allowed to come on the trip and not rehab in our $1 billion facility. Makes no sense if he couldn't lace up his shoes. Otherwise, fire Doc for leaving packed content in there. I knew this would happen with him. Mike, as much as I want to talk about Doc Rivers, again, I've only had 2 complaints on Doc Rivers throughout the series. Not playing AJ Green enough, not having AJ Green in at the end of what was that game 3, where he should have been in, and he probably get the rebounds. He probably win game 3, and you're looking at a potential 2-2 deficit or 2-2 even series. Say it again.
Ajax.
I said AJ Green. Yeah, my bad. Ajax, correct. And then the other part. So here's the thing on the Giannis thing, and I think T-Matt also in the chat. I think he said that like Giannis isn't running yet. So I don't know if you guys heard the report. So the report as of today was Giannis began running. Yeah, and when it say running unassisted. So I guess before he had been able to run, in the little water or something, like where it's like, they have like this
little
this
underwater treadmill or whatever, like the gravity. Yeah. It's like the
anti-gravity. He was doing that, and now he's able to run on the floor. And so when you say, why did he come on the trip? I'm not saying they thought he was going to be able to play, but if Giannis wakes up and it's like, ooh, I'm feeling good today, and I'm running and cutting, I think he's going to play. And so you give him that opportunity, and you can't, and if somebody calls you from Milwaukee, hey, Giannis is feeling good right now, it's a much tougher process to get him. So I'm assuming that's why that's the only thing I can assume is that's why he's on the trip versus, because I get the point there. But again, you got to think about it. He's been doubtful for every game in the series, but that they have not just flat out ruled him out for every game. And again, he's going to be doubtful, I'm assuming, for game 5 as well. Maybe questionable. I don't know. He's running now. Maybe he will be questionable for game 5. So I think, again, that to me is a little bit of difference.
Let me ask you a question, right? And I don't want to upset the apple cart too much, but lower body extremities, Trey, you've gone on record saying, hey, somebody in the strength and conditioning staff needs to be held accountable, regardless if they were winning awards in previous seasons, right? Yep. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, that don't help us right now, right? Right now we talk about 2024. So you look at Dame and Giannis having these lower body extremities, right? These calf, ankle injuries. Well, and a lot of times when we start looking at numerous different players having the same types or injuries in certain areas too. I mean, you got some other guys that are injured as well. You do hold those folks accountable. So the question I'm going to ask y'all is, do you guys really think we fire our strength and conditioning staff or make some changes there after the season? And then the other thing is it time to have that hard conversation with Giannis and say, listen, man, I understand that you want to play basketball in Greece and everything else, and everybody wants to play to keep you happy thing. But it's the second time you've broken down at the end of the season when it matters. And I think, with age and everything else, we got to make it. We got to put the kibosh on this, because y'all know Giannis is probably going to be trying to play in Greece this summer, right? Trying to qualify for the Olympics. And I just think that this is that's not helping the situation here.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I do think that maybe some has to go on the training staff, but I just think that it was just a freak injury for Giannis. Like, what was he doing? Running up the court, and all of a sudden he's out for damn near a month.
Well, he had like lingering injuries too. I think hamstring. It was a few things. That leg was pretty beat up. I think there was a couple. It wasn't like it was a hamstring, calf. It's a couple of things that were going on there too. So it wasn't. So it's not. I mean, the calf injury is lights out, but
I think it just comes with the pressure they faced all season to get that big three gelling. Like I don't think they really had a choice to at least get those three out there at the same time, because they had only played 3-4 games under Doc Rivers. So it was like you felt like you had to get those three gelling, and then this is the kind of repercussions you face if they get hurt and they just ultimately can't stay out there. And hopefully they're able to at least rattle one off on Tuesday and make it a series.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that when you talk about the strength and conditioning team, I'm not there. I was probably just talking a lot of shit. I don't know what it's like.
Point, right?
I don't know kind of ins and outs of whether they should be fired or not. I definitely think they should be evaluated. I definitely think it should be talked about. What are y'all doing? We need to. If they have been just kind of skating by from 2021, 2022, and all that stuff, there needs to be a discussion about what the hell's going on and what plans you have moving forward. So again, I don't know if I necessarily think they should be fired, but there definitely needs to be an evaluation and maybe some second and third opinions that go on. And then on the second issue, Todd says, "What happened to your sound? Can only hear Trey's loud ass. Chris and John have no volume." So I don't know if there's a sound issue going on, but saying it, but yeah, I'll just keep going here. I think that from a perspective of Giannis, they should definitely shut him down in Greece. I don't want to hear. Yeah, I don't want to hear nothing about him in Greece or anything like that. Nah. We don't want that at all. And Mark Gomes says we can hear y'all. D Cole says Todd's a hater. I can hear you. Okay, so it sounds like everybody's good. I don't know what's going on. Revixi's Burner subscribed. So what's up, Revixi's Burner? Appreciate you subscribing to the chat as well. But yeah, that's what do you think, JT? You think he should play? There's no way he's playing Greece.
No, I think you 100% gotta have that tough conversation. You have to shut this down, right? You can't, because you could argue some of these are freak injuries, but you could also argue that, hey, like maybe there's some overuse going on here. And I think the older you get, the more you got to focus and take care of your body, especially when you're an explosive player like Giannis. It's pounding as hard as Giannis goes all year, all that pounding on his legs and everything. It's like, man, at some point I think it weighs on you, and then you're not really getting rest in your offseason like that because you're practicing with your international team and you're playing extremely hard over there too. And it's just, that may have worked when you're in your early 20s. When you're in your late 20s and early 30s, it just feels like preservation becomes a bit more important. And Giannis doesn't rest much during the regular season. He probably does. He
plays 73 games this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so you don't rest much during the regular season. Yep. So at some point, like, you just got to do more, I think, to preserve and take care of your body. And because Giannis only knows one speed, and that's 100%. You got to say that man from himself. You do. You got to say that man from himself. And I think somebody's got to put the kibosh on in Greece. And if that makes him upset, too bad, right? Like we're gonna have to be grown-ups about this thing.
Mm-hmm. And they've done it before. They're not afraid to tell him to sit out, because was it last year in the FIBA where he had the knee soreness before and they shut him down. So hopefully with the new staff and the new voices around the franchise, they're able to do it again.
Let's keep going with the Twitter comments here. At DTP Virgo says, regardless, got to blow it up at the end of the season. This team is too old and lacks effort doing the small things. Injuries saved Doc's job. Justin 1MK says, it's over. Question is, do we move on from Dame this offseason? Number one, the answer is no. Number two, we'll talk about that kind of stuff. We'll talk about that after the next game about the offseason for sure. Bucks Truther says, Ajax proved himself tonight. I hate the Pacers. Bees played better. I hate the Pacers. Gutsy game by Middleton. I hate the Pacers. Rated R Noop 414 says Indy soft as F and all the BS they do. How do they always manage to get by the Bucks legs in compromising positions? Bobby has to be in better control. We have him. We win. The series isn't over as long as guys play like this. The 414 where Hallie isn't from. Jay Dursey says only have to win one road game of the next three. That is true. If we get Giannis Dame back with the effort we saw from the rest of the squad in the last two games, it's possible. Couple more here. D Spoon 388 says, I feel like just having Giannis back to win game 5. If that happens, I don't know, man. At real at Real Simplistic says, hate the Pacers for seemingly not understanding the Bucks are undermanned. I want nothing more from Giannis and Dame to come back and let the Pacers know what time it is. When healthy, the Bucks are the better team. And then I'll do one more here. Wisconsin HFC says, historically, you generally don't come back from down 3-1. That said, if we win on Tuesday, go back to Indiana with Giannis, maybe Dame, I'm already attempting to talk myself into it. And then we'll do one more. GA Hoop says, big question now is, will Dame or Giannis play in an elimination game? Is it even worth it at this point? And that's where I want to go next to, and I think that's our next point here is, where do the Bucks go from here? What's the next move? What happens next? How do you, and when I say next, I'm not going, because I think I see some people in the chat, they're getting into like next season in drafts. I'm not talking about that right now. We can talk about that if the Bucks lose Game 5 or whenever the Bucks are eliminated. That's what we get into. That's what I want to get in next. I want to talk about, when I say next, I mean for this series. Getting into kind of your question, JT, where you're saying, do you bring Giannis back? Do you bring Dame back? If they're healthy, what does that look like? What do you want to do? And then also, again, this is now, as the Bucks are down 3-1. Right now, you're at the point, again, you kind of think this about every game, but right now you're at the point where it's every single game. Every game, like the next game that's in front of you. You're not worried about what the series doesn't matter. 3-1 doesn't matter. You just have to win the next game, and then the next game, and then the next game. That's all you can concern yourself with if you're the Bucks. State of Mind says Dame was in a walking boot. Last I heard it was a strain. Again, the only guy, so I'll say this again, maybe I said this at the beginning, but we'll repeat it again. The report from TNT, even though Dame was in a walking boot just to stabilize himself, the report from TNT before the game was that this is a pain tolerance and mobility issue for Damian Lillard. They said, again, not me, they said that Damian Lillard cannot injure himself further with this calf issue that he has. That's what the report from TNT was. He can't injure himself further. Don't know what the hell that means, but that's what they said. So if it's my question, and I think Doc Rivers alluded to the fact that he said that it sounds a little bit closer like Dame could maybe play in Game 5 versus Giannis. I'm not necessarily expecting Giannis to be back for Game 5, but it sounds like Dame may be able to be back for Game 5. So I'll just leave it open-ended. You can go wherever you want to go with it. Where do the Bucks go from here?
The Dame Achilles explanation makes no sense. I just don't understand that. They're saying he can't injure it more. No, how does that work, right? Here's where I'm at. If Dame is hurt, I don't play him. I'm not going to play with an Achilles because if he ruptures that thing, it's over. It's literally probably going to be 2 years before you start seeing any type of Dame looking like himself if he ruptures that like that, and like we don't really have 2 years. So I feel like if his Achilles is inflamed, if it's partially torn, whatever the hell it is, if there's a chance that he can tear it, right? Which granted you could tear it 100%, if you're fully healthy, but if there's any increased percentage chance of him tearing this thing or rupturing this Achilles, it is not worth bringing down. Absolutely not. I think you got to be smart there because here's the thing. You bring him back, he gets out there, he ruptures that Achilles. Oh, what's the explanation, right? Everybody's culpable at that point. So now, having said that, I think if Giannis is okay at this point, because that will be what? Tuesday will that be 3 weeks?
I'm not sure.
A smidge over that. I think Tuesday might be 3 weeks. I think that's right. I think that, yeah. Okay. So, at that point, if Giannis is clear, if Giannis can run, if they're like, listen, you're fine here.
3 weeks. Mark goes for 3 weeks. So then I think you could maybe look at bringing Giannis back. But I think at this point with Dame, you don't play with it. You certainly don't play with those Achilles injuries like that. And Doc said there was an MRI, but he said there's some stuff showing up on the MRI, right? So, I mean, again, these are evasive. This is coach speak saying a whole bunch of nothing, right? And personally, I don't think Doc would ever just admit a player is going to be out unless he has to. And I get it, right? I get it. You always want to try to, keep the door open 1% from a scouting perspective. I get that too. But yeah, I think more likely we see Giannis play instead of Dame because, again, you just don't play with Achilles injuries like that.
Well, look, regardless of who it is, if we get one of those guys back, I would love it. Because I know that Giannis can take control of a game against the Pacers. We've seen it throughout the season. In their first win against the Pacers, what do you have, 64? So, like, that would be nice to see. But like JT said, if there's any further risk of having, like, a major injury, then there already would be. It just might not be worth it at this point, 3-1. If you can get one without those two, great. Do I see it happening? No, but that would allow you to actually get one more game of rest and try to get them both back potentially. So that would be cool. But yeah, I just don't see how they'd be able to do it without both. So I hope one plays. That's where I'm at.
Well, yeah, and I think here's my thing. I feel the same kind of way with Giannis. Again, of course, it depends upon the injury. When you talk about can he further re-injure himself, I don't know. But if Damian Lillard, I think about these playoffs a little bit differently. I think if you can, especially when I look at the Pacers, because again, and I'm sure we'll have some Pacers people that come in the chat watching this on the replay. You have not impressed me. Y'all suck. You have not impressed me. I'm not impressed. I don't think this team is very good. I think they're a bunch of front runners, and I think they again, you run a fast-paced team, you go up and down the court, and I think that's cool. But it does not give me they're playoff ready. They're maybe in a couple years, I don't see from them, and that's why I'm with you. God, just got to get a win. Like if there are some teams that like 3-1 is over, it just does not feel like to me 3-1 is over from the Indiana Pacers. Like it feels like if you can get one and get back to Indiana, again, especially if Dame is there, and then especially if you're telling me that games like tonight, again, I hate playing the if game, but again, that's the only thing. I'm not saying the Bucks are gonna win the series or anything. I'm just saying I hate playing the if game. But if Damian Lillard's there, it's one of those things where, man, I feel like if Damian Lillard's Achilles was fine at the end of game 3, they probably win game 3. I feel like tonight I'm watching this game and I'm like, damn. Hell, maybe if just Bobby was there. Hell, maybe if Chris was just 100% or close, if Chris is clearly out there limping and hurt and he doesn't look 100%. Like, it just looks like Indiana just like they are just they look like they are very close to being beaten by a hobbled Bucks team over and over and over again. And I just don't see that killer mentality, that dog in them. Because to be honest, the Pacers should have beat this team by 25, and I'm talking about they should have been beating our butt all night long, and they couldn't do it. They could, and that's even with making 10 more threes. It just did not feel like a game where and I know they were up for the majority of the game. They just didn't feel like they were that much better than the Bucks. It felt like they it felt like they just hit a few more threes. So Tony Wilder says, "Nah, this is over, my guy." But again, I'm not saying it's not over. What I'm saying is, okay, let me tell you, let me ask the chat this way to say that when you say, nah, this is over. If I told you that Giannis and Dame were coming back for game 5, would you think it's over? 3-1, if I told you Giannis and Dame were coming back, if I told you they were coming back game 5 back in Milwaukee, is it over?
You have a real chance at it.
No,
yeah. 100% is not over. I think if you got Giannis and Dame coming back for Game 5, I would say that, right? Provided that they're like not severely hobbled or anything and they're clear.
So that's what I'm saying. And my point there is, well, damn it, can I just get one? So if you're telling me that we don't think it's over 3-1 if Dame and Giannis come back, well then can I get one? If I told you, okay, well let me give you another scenario. It's 3-2. It's 3-2 and Giannis come. Oh yeah, it definitely ain't over then. So that's all I'm saying. Again, it's all dependent on health, but that's what I'm saying. If Dame can come back, like I don't think it's over in the sense that the Bucks can't win a game. The Bucks were in this one and they got it down to 5 in the fourth quarter. They got down to 5, I think in the fourth quarter in a game where nobody's playing. So no, I can't. So yeah, it doesn't. It didn't. Again, Indy didn't. They hit a bunch of threes, but it didn't feel like Indy was just. Man, they killing it. They hit a bunch of threes. And again, a lot of that was because Brook Lopez couldn't rotate. And a lot of that was because Bobby Portis was a jackass and didn't want to play.
Well, but now our problem, though, is, again, though, we can't, based on the personnel and what we've got, we can't really stop the threes if they're clicking for them. Who can we throw out there on the perimeter to stop, right? I mean, if Pat Bev's hurt, man, I don't know. I think you do have an issue here because like our perimeter defense is extremely vulnerable at this point.
Yeah,
well, again, then that's go ahead.
I think bringing Giannis back solves a little bit of your issues defensively because then you can go small and you don't have to play Brook Lopez as many minutes, and Bobby Portis doesn't get ejected, and I think you get a lot better defensively. There are some concerns on the perimeter with the guard play, but that's what we've been dealing with all season. Can't fix it now.
And that's all this is about. Can you find a way to win Game 5? That's all. Again, forget Game 6 and Game 6. Find a way to win Game 5, and then let's talk. Let's see. I think it just sounds like Giannis can maybe get his way. Again, we talk about Tuesday is 3 weeks. Thursday is a little bit further past that. I feel like he probably could give it. If you get it back to 3-2, I really feel like Giannis will come back Game 6 in India, and then again. And if you win, you already know if you win Game 6, then it's Game 7 in Milwaukee, and it's like it's a whole new ball game. I think everybody's playing. Everybody's gonna go give you one. So again, Mark Gomez said it. Says in chat here, Pacers had a historic game from 3 tonight, and this was close with the Bucks missing 3 to 4 starters and their top 2 best players. Like when I see some stuff like that, I feel like, okay, again, maybe all those threes don't go down in Milwaukee. Maybe they don't. Maybe, again, Malik Beasley had a real nice night. Maybe AJ Green steps up and hits a few more threes. Maybe, maybe again, I don't know what percentage would you give what percentage you give the Bucks to come back and win this series?
I'll tell you what. I ask this question. If they went on Tuesday, if the Bucks went on Tuesday, what percentage do you think the Bucks? What percentage chance do you think the Bucks have of winning this series? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if this goes to Game 7, the Bucks 100%.
Okay, Game 7. If it goes to Game 7,
the Bucks are 100% winning the series.
I'll tell you that.
Right.
The best part about it is though, I still feel like there's stuff left that we haven't displayed yet, like a game where we get that hot from 3 and we can go put up 130, and regardless. Like JT said, all season, your best defense is another made 3-pointer. Where is that?
You better believe it. In a track meet, that's deep. Hey, need a faster leg. That's all you need. Right? You running a relay race, especially on that anchor. You just need a horse go a little bit faster than the guy in front of him. That's it. That's all you need. So yeah, we need Giannis back. We do need Giannis back because you are right. That will help us a bit on the perimeter, though. But hey, we just need breathing room. If we can win this thing on Tuesday, that could potentially shift this series in our favor.
Jay Wan says, "How do we stop them, though?" And again, I don't think Giannis is gonna play Game 5. That's my thought. Again, I think you need Damian Lillard to play Game 5. I don't know that you can win this without Damian Lillard playing in a Game 5. So I really think you do need him back. But how do you stop them again? Part of it is Bobby Portis has to stay on the floor. And again, I think look at your plus minus here. Again, my only complaint from Doc Rivers, and Andre Jackson played 25 minutes. And I know we talked about, can he play 30? Damn, you're gonna have to. We're gonna have to see. Andre Jackson Jr. was a plus 9 in 25 minutes. He was your only positive player. I think he's got to play. I mean, I don't know if you start him or what. I think he has to play a lot. You have to have that youth, that energy. Again, 6 points, 6 boards, 7 assists. He had a great night tonight. Like Andre Jr. played very well. People are talking about Todd talking about Pascal Siakam. Andre Jr. damn near did what Pascal did tonight. Pascal Siakam was 13, 9, and 7. Andre Jr. was 6, 6, and 7 tonight.
And you know what he's doing out there too is he just proved you right that he needed to be on the floor in Game 3 because he's making plays. He's getting on loose balls. He's jumping passing lanes that Tyrese Halliburton, normally is able to get through, and he's stealing those passes. And so I think that should be a defining moment. That
we almost got through a whole show.
You knew it was coming.
Tonight should be a defining moment for Andre Jackson Jr. to stay on the floor. Go ahead.
I agree. And when he comes out, you just see him make plays, ball and energy out there. Plays you take the red shirt off Andre Jackson Jr. This shouldn't even be a debate at this point. right? Like I think at this point, yes, he has earned his minutes, and fortunately, he's getting even more experience in the playoffs. And the moment is not too big for him at this point. I agree with you. I just think it's funny that Trey was about to pause you, but he let that go when he was talking.
I let it slide. I let it slide.
That's because I just start letting it slide in my head, and I just go.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
So Mark Gomes, it's just a good point here. Mark Gomes, and I think you're saying that he was on the floor in games. I think you're talking about Ejection Jr. That's not why they lost. But right, Mark Gomes, it's about when he wasn't on the floor. He didn't play. Again, same complaint that if you remember, the guys that brought the Bucks back, even in the fourth, the guys that brought the Bucks back throughout the majority of that game did not close the game. Doc Rivers went back to his starting lineup. Again, it's hard to totally fault Doc Rivers for going back to starters because, again, you want to trust those guys, but they didn't get the rebounds. And look, Eject Jr. tonight, 25 minutes, how many rebounds? He has 6 boards tonight. So, again, he's a guy that can go out and get some of those rebounds, and again, you have to play him. You have to play him because he brings that energy, brings that offense. Let me ask you one more question. Again, I think we're gonna get to wrapping this thing up, but let me ask you one more question. There's another guy, and we've talked about it. Do you think? And again, he looked like he went to the salon, like he went to the hairdresser, like he got braids in his hair now. We've talked about it and we've said, I don't know, he hasn't played a lot. Do you kick the tires on a Marjon Beauchamp? At this point, only because you're down 3-1, at this point, all bets are off. I don't know. I mean, again, he's a guy who, here's what I'll say. As opposed from Pat Connaughton, as opposed to Jay Crowder, as opposed to even a Malik Beasley, Marjon, for some things that he does not so hot, for some things, for the type of player that he is and the youth and inexperience, he still can get you a shot. And he also has that youth that, I think he runs a little bit better, obviously. The thing is, he's going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But, and again, it's just hard because he didn't play. He barely played. He didn't hardly. It's hard to think about him playing in the playoffs legit minutes, but he didn't play all regular season for the most part, and he's only played in garbage minutes in the playoffs. Do you dust the tires off of a guy like Marjon Beauchamp and see what he can provide? At this point, you're down 3-1. What do you have to lose?
So here's my only thing, right? Because this is a problem where two things can be true. Marjon 100% has the talent and I think the size and skill set to impact our perimeter defense, right? I 100% think he can do that. The other thing that's true, though, is Doc has not put him in a position to be able to succeed at this point. So I think for Doc, I don't even know if Doc would even consider that. Right, like I just don't know. I don't know if Doc knows that he's desperate and desperate enough to consider. Listen, this guy Marjon has not played for a long time. Yet he's probably fresh. I don't know how studious. I'm assuming Marjon is studious. Probably in his film. He probably weren't watching. He's hungry for. I venture to say I bet Marjon is hungry for it. Right. I think it makes a lot of sense to throw Marjon out there, even if it's just a few minutes. Throw him out there, see what he's got. Right? He looks lost. Okay, you pull him. But the problem though is that Doc has done this to himself because you have not used this guy. You have not developed this guy at all. You really haven't put him in a chance to succeed. Throwing him out there in the pressure cooker. So, look, I say give it a shot, give it a run. Why not? Especially if Giannis and Dame are going to be out. Yeah, we need everybody to contribute. But, on the same note, I'm not sure Doc will do that.
Just the only, I guess, question I would have is do we think Marjon is better when Giannis is out there, when those superstars are out there? Do they draw more attention to get him more open looks? And you won't get that. And so he'll be kind of not on his own, but he'll have to be able to create some more looks offensively by himself than he would get if Giannis and Dame were out there. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to try to get him out there, maybe throw him on Halliburton, throw him on Nesmith or whoever it is, their guards, and see how that goes. But if it's not going well, then, yeah, you just short leash on him. But I think could be beneficial. So we'll see.
Yeah, and to answer that question, I get what you're saying. There's more space for him with Giannis on the floor, but I think to me the question is, can he be better than Pat Connaughton? Can he be worse than Pat Connaughton?
No.
Right? Like what can he? There are things that he can provide, obviously, and I think you're right, JT. The skill set, it's there in his game. He hasn't played enough to really build on it. But again, at this point, you're down 3-1. I know what Connaughton's giving you nothing. I know what Crowder's giving you nothing. Right? Do you let him go 5-10 minutes and then pull him, if he's not playing well? But again, another guy that maybe can push the floor a little bit, get some rebounds and create some havoc and just muck the game up. Like you have to like I thought the Bucks did for some parts, they tried to muck the game up a bit, especially when, if you notice, and Brook Lopez did a couple threes, but they were dumping down to Brook Lopez and he was playing in the post and beating them up. Like those are some of the things that you have to do. And again, I think defensively, we just got to find a way to get out. And that's the other thing. Defensively, more agile. He can run a little bit. He can get out there. Again, I'm grasping at straws here because this thing is make no mistake. And I know somebody in the chat said, it's 50% if they can win game 5. There's 50% chance they can win the series. Nobody's saying and again, Coach Jackson's in here. I don't know what the hell, Little League, Coach Jackson, because Coach Jackson, I don't know, you seem a little upset tonight, sir. Maybe you get you a glass of a Stella Rosa and calm down. But maybe I don't know what your 4th grade team lost or whatever the hell team you're coaching. But the Bucks, right? Like I'm not saying when we talk about what they can do, and I'm not saying that there's there's a great chance the Bucks are gonna win the series again. We understand they're down 3-1. But what I am saying is there's a chance you can go win game 5. And you have to put out all the breaks, all the stops to go win game 5. And if that means you break the chains off of MarJon Beauchamp, you break the chains off MarJon Beauchamp. I never want to lose a fight or to lose a war, lose a battle. And I still had a piece in my war chest that I didn't go to. Like I want to eliminate all options before. I never want to look back at the season and go, man, we could have done that. Maybe it would have worked. Because again, same thing with Ejection Jr. We were begging Ejection Jr. He's playing. He looks like a big, like one of the few positives on this team right now.
But that goes back to saving Doc from himself, right? Like the thing about Doc is because Doc is stuck in his ways and he has his rotations and he's here. I mean, quite honestly, I think Pat Connaughton 2021 is a long way away from here. I think you could divvy up those minutes even further, but it's been such a battle to watch Doc play the young guys. And I just do wonder if somebody on that coaching staff is going to say, listen, we're looking at the season here. If we do not win this game, why not look at the guy who got fresh legs, who's probably frustrated because he hasn't had a lot of time. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. He probably works hard, has been astute. Get that man a shot. And look, and if it's going to be 5 minutes to start, then fine, get that man 5 minutes. Because I can't guarantee you, but I would be willing to bet that MarJon Beauchamp is going to give you the best 5 minutes he's got. Yeah, I mean, if he gets thrown out there at this point, I'd be willing to take that gamble.
Yeah, and like you said, I think Big Shot Pat is just way gone. Like that aura that he had, knocking down big shots all 2021 season run, like that's nowhere to be found. And then you throw in how he's just not aggressive and getting rebounds and stuff like that. Seems like he's kind of transitioned to be play like a smaller guard. It's dumb, and so yeah, I wonder if you can at least throw MarJon out there to give him some minutes.
Some comments from Doc Rivers on Andre Jackson. He says he just plays hard. There's times when he's going so fast, you just want him to slow down. But I love his intensity. I love his makeup. He's a competitor. He wants to compete. He wants to win, and he doesn't do anything for himself. Everything about him. You can tell that he was at UConn, and they have that team thing because everything he does, it's nothing about him. It's always about the team, and that's a pleasure to coach. So Doc Rivers on Andre Jackson Jr. and talking about how good he played. And then the other thing on Doc Rivers on the 3-1 deficit, this is all from Eric Neem. He says it's just one game at a time. It's just one game at a time. Here's the deal. We have 2 games left at home. They have 1 game left at home. That's how you got to look at it. So the first thing is we have to win the first game at home, and then we can talk about the rest after that. That was Doc Rivers on the 3-1 deficit. We didn't have audio, so I'm just trying to make sure that we capture what he said appropriately.
Yeah, You sure
But
that
again,
wasn't
so
the exact clip? That wasn't
It
the press
was-
conference.
Y'all something else, man. Y'all something else, man. And you saw the last comment from the last show. We went to Doc Rivers' impression. What was it? My man said a Doc Rivers impression, and we was talking about the blue rhino pills.
yeah.
And Basil Hayden, etc.
Sometimes this show gets off the rails. But tonight, man, the Bucks lose it 126-113. I don't know how long we've gone tonight, but this has been a really fun show, and we're going to keep going as we roll this thing on and do our game balls. Who are you giving the game ball to tonight? I'm sure John will surprise us with somebody from the Bucks.
Yes, I'm giving a game ball to a Bucks player tonight. And why? And what is the issue with that? You can't give people a game ball on a loss.
No, but go
ahead. It's a Bucks game ball. So we don't give out game balls in a loss.
I don't.
Somebody plays well.
I don't.
Man,
but I know you do. So go ahead.
Yes. All right. So tonight's game, man, y'all something else, man. Tonight, you know who I'm gonna get a game ball to tonight.
Malik Beasley.
No, you know why? Because Malik Beasley, it's like he got bad credit, right? Like his credit is so bad over the last couple months that I can't clap for him when he makes a payment on time, right? Even if it's to save your car from getting repoed, I can't clap for him. I can't clap for Malik Beasley because he's been so bad. And tonight, I mean, he played well, right? He had 8 for 12, was he 4 for 7 for 3, 20 points. I'm gonna give mine tonight to Chris Middleton. It's going to Chris Middleton. I wanted to give it to Brook Lopez because Brook Lopez, the offensive performance, and seeing Brook Lopez step up and literally get some buckets tonight, right? Brook Lopez had a strong performance at 27 and 9, and 3 for 5 from 3, and looked good offensively, but defensively, Brook Lopez was a screen door with no screen in, right? And so yeah, I'm going with Chris Middleton tonight. Again, another strong performance from the other. Building off the other night, I thought Chris looked good. I thought Chris made some big shots in this game. And kept the momentum going for the Bucks. Helped them. Oh,
I'm just looking at the chat. I was
gonna say, y'all about to pause me right now? Okay.
Yes, no, you good. No, we got to pause the chat. Q Money Venture says no game balls, only blue ones. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh.
All right. I'll give it. This will be my best game ball yet, I think. Miles Turner, 29-9 and 4 or whatever it was. He's really coming to his own player, and look, knocking down threes. This was a guy who, a lot of Bucks fans wanted to fill that Brook Lopez role if he was getting older, if he was to leave. And
that's a good point. Yeah.
And Indy did a great job of just keeping him around until he became what everybody wanted to see, I'd imagine, in Indy. So he played well tonight. He's played well pretty much all series to me. So I'll give it to him.
I think Mark Gomes says he shouldn't give out game balls to the opposing team. It's the game ball. It's not the Milwaukee Bucks ball. It's the game ball. The game ball go. And again, just like the Pacers wanted to keep the game ball when Giannis put up 70. No, we won. That's my game ball. That's how it goes. The game ball to the victor go to spoil.
I agree with Mark Gomes. Why are we giving this to opposing team? We gave this to a guy off the bench from an opposing team the other night.
Listen, it's a game ball. You went out there and played, and
he can get his own game ball from his own team. That's what
you want it, win.
If he's that worthy, his own team will give him a game ball. How about that?
Well, Miles Turner was worthy to me as well, so we're gonna go 2 on Miles Turner, 29-9, 2 on Miles Turner. Wow. 29-9 and 4 from Miles Turner. He was 10 of 17, 7 of 9 from 3. I mean, a lot of these were just warm-up jumpers. Wow. 78% from 3. I mean, again, he had a really just a real nice night from 3. Getting a lot of them wide open. Again, Brook Lopez just couldn't get out there. So I couldn't, that's what it was. And again, Miles Turner, a lot of props to him, a lot of credit. And it's something the Bucks are gonna have to look at for next game. I think that Doc Rivers. I will say this about Doc Rivers: Doc has done a good job through this series of making the proper adjustments. He's just a little outmanned, outgunned with the personnel that he has. So I understand that part of it. But again, Pascal Siakam dominated for 2 games in a row. He's been, I don't want to say a non-factor, but he has not had that same impact. So they've had to find other ways. So again, maybe that's a credit to Rick Carlisle for finding other ways and other guys ways to exploit the Bucks without Pascal Siakam. Now Doc Rivers has to, because this is 2 games now where Miles Turner has been pretty good from 3. Now Doc Rivers has got to find a way to continue to stop Pascal Siakam, but you got to get those rotations quicker over to Miles Turner and not give up those threes. And again, some of what we talked about, Adrian Griffin, do you want to parade a layup line to the basket? No, but you can't have guys shooting wide open threes too. And that was what Adrian Griffin was trying to prevent and want to press up a little closer on those 3-point shooters, because that's what was happening to the Bucks for the last few years or whatever it was. And now you're in this position where you're getting beat the same way you got beat. You exiting the playoffs the same way Boston took you out the playoffs, the same way the Heat took you out the playoffs. I'm trying to remember if there's another team. Maybe it's just those 2 that I'm remembering that the way they took us out of the playoffs. That's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing. And so again, we'll see what Doc Rivers does to try to combat that. But you're right, Chris. It was the Bucks have been, I don't know really the Bucks have been linked to Miles Turner, or if it was just like fans. I know a lot of people wanted Miles Turner. But that's just how it is. And Tom Merrill saying the Bucks can't sign any free agents except vet minutes. Again, we do this all the time, and we're talking about. I don't want to talk about the offseason, but just for a second, we do this all the time where people talk about, well, you can't move this contract, you can't trade. Russell Westbrook has been traded multiple times on a crazy contract. James Harden's been traded on crazy contracts. John Wall's been traded on a crazy contract. And Bobby Portis has, to me, again, we explained, I think Bobby Portis has a great contract to be traded on. Like I think Bobby Portis, again, for as much trash as I talk about Bobby Portis, Bobby, again, he has a lot of attributes. I won't go through it again, but he has a lot of attributes that a lot of teams I think could use. And I think a lot of people use it. There's 50% kicker. So what is that? $15 million, whatever it's going to cost. Like, I think a lot of teams would do this. The Bucks need to infuse and get younger. They need to push out some of their older players. And again, does that mean I think when people think about trading, and again, I don't want to get too much into it tonight, but again, when I think people think about trading, their first thought, and also remember the Bucks have a very early 2nd round pick this year too, coming from I think from Portland. So they have a 1st round pick 23, and they have a 33rd overall pick from Portland. But when people think about trades, they think about, well, you have to get equal value. So if you're sending away, and I don't think I want to send away Chris Middleton, but if you send away Bobby, you gotta get somebody back who's just as good as Bobby. If you send away Chris, you gotta get somebody back no. I'm telling you, you're right. And so if you're looking for equal value, you're not going to get that. What you're going to get is potential. Somebody that you may have to develop into that. Donte DiVincenzo, when he first went to Golden State, you may not have got the guy who Donte DiVincenzo is now, right? So you may have to be trading out some guy that you know is pretty good, but may break down the playoffs a little bit for somebody who is a younger, youthful player that you want to play with. So, I get it. Is it going to be a direct 1-to-1 trade? No. But can you get some youth infused into this team that can sustain the Bucks for the regular season, where once you get to the postseason, you can then go Giannis, Dame, Chris, and let those guys run and not injure themselves before the postseason starts? You absolutely can. Again, I just got to change the way you think about a trade. You're not going to get, like, Chris Middleton is a multiple all-star. You may not get a guy that's an all-star back. And that's okay. That's all I'm saying. That's okay. But yeah, any final words before we get to look around on the Bucks losing 126-113?
Man, season's on the line on Tuesday. So whatever they got, you gotta empty it all out. Whatever the Bucks got, right? You can't. I mean, what I don't want to see us do is go into the offseason with more regrets, and because we're already gonna regret a whole lot that's happened there. But to go out and have more regrets and have guys that maybe shouldn't play that we didn't play, not turning guys loose, sticking to what we know. Got to use everything you got, especially if you're going to be shorthanded and Giannis and Dame are going to be out.
I want to thank everybody for pulling up. This is a fun show we did tonight, and it just is what it is, and we'll move on to Tuesday. And I'm expecting the same amount of energy that we brought tonight on Tuesday, and maybe not, maybe more, regardless of what happens, win or lose. I'm excited. It should be fun.
So right now, let me ask y'all. All right. So once the season is over, right? Hopefully that's weeks from now. But once the season is over, is everybody cool with like a podcast breakdown of the season, and we can have Danny Levin, our NBA capologist expert, right, to kind of talk through potential what we need to do to create cap space, what we need to do to. I mean, because I think that would be a very interesting conversation for a lot of our listeners too, to have somebody break down how you can make this stuff happen. Because Trey, I think you just made a great point when you talk about players with these humongous contracts that can find ways to get moved from, Brad Beal to John Wall to whomever. So
right.
I think that's a good idea, just to throw that out there. And
absolutely, it's a great idea. We do a production meeting right here. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a. We're definitely going to do a. So again, hopefully this season doesn't end on Tuesday night, but of course we'll have Cream City crossover Tuesday, and then we'll definitely. I don't know if you want to do a few days, a week, whatever, but we'll definitely come back with a end of season, town hall, whatever you want to call it, and just get state of the Bucks and what this thing's gonna look like moving forward into the offseason.
Yeah.
So we definitely do that.
Cream City crossover dog days. I mean, we could set something up, whether it's on a schedule, whether it's more of like an emergency thing where we just go live after something breaks, stuff like that. We'll definitely set that up. And how about the Olympics, baby? I'm USA, dog. I don't care who these guys play
USA?
for. I don't care who these guys. I'm rooting for Tyrese Halliburton in the Olympics. I bleed red, white, and blue, dog. So
of course, well, 100%, we all do. And I saw some folks in the chat commenting saying, what about Packers talk, right? Breaking that down. I know you just saw the draft with Green Bay, and you're going to go into the mini camps are about to start, and you're about to start OTAs and stuff like that too. So that might not be a bad idea for the summer too, to just release some content talking about a few different teams that I think a lot of listeners are interested in.
Yeah, no, we do it all around here, and of course, as you know, we're always on T's and Q's every Saturday from 10 to noon Central. So check us out there, man. Y'all are talking like the season's over though. So I'm not liking this.
I'm trying to do
vibe
that.
I got that the season's about to end. Hold on now. We still got some play. We still got some stuff to do. Bucks down 3-1. But let's do a look around. Plenty of time. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. We'll definitely break some stuff down, and we'll have content for you in the off season as well. 100%. Let's look around the league. The New York Knicks, 97-92 today. That was a fun bet, man. That is a fun series. Even though the Knicks are up 3-1, I mean, that is like a knockout, drag-out series. I mean, the New York Knicks, and shout out to the Knicks, their fans. They took over the Wells Fargo Center tonight in Philly. I mean, they chanting F and Embiid in the damn hallways. Like, I thought, listen, I'm learning some new stuff. You had Embiid commenting about the Philly fans. I thought this was a sports town. I mean, I thought this was the place that was throwing batters at Santa Claus. The 76ers are clearly at the bottom of the pecking order behind the Eagles and the Philadelphia Phillies, because I cannot imagine the Philadelphia Eagles fans allowing people to come into their stadium and say anything, like the Commanders, the Cowboys, and really just take over a stadium. I didn't know that happened in Philly. The Knicks absolutely did it. It's a fun series. They a lot of back and forth in that series, but the Knicks are up 3-1. The Clippers, that was a fun game. I don't know if you guys watched that, but the Clippers were up 31. The Mavericks came back to take the lead, but playoff P, Paul George was just awesome all night. This is a fun series too. It's tied up 2-2. I think it's going to be going back to LA up with a 2-2 series. That one has been fun. The Mavericks came back, but again, just wasn't enough. They had a chance to really take a foothold of this series. No, Kawhi Leonard didn't play, and I think it sounds like he's kind of not going to play for the rest of the I'm assuming for the rest of the series. And then Phoenix and Minnesota is on right now, 76-75, 77-75 right now. Minnesota trying to close out the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. This is a closeout game for them. Phoenix imagine Phoenix getting swept. I mean, that's just crazy to think about the potential for Kevin Durant. That would be even worse because their big three is playing. Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal are playing right now. At least the Bucks would have one more win than that big three. So I think there's discussion about whether Frank Vogel, whether his job is on the line. I think it should.
Let me save you some time. If they get eliminated in the first round, he's done. Now, let me just save y'all some time, right? Like listen, if there's any coaches, I know we got a few contacts out there, like listen, now's the time to polish up your resume if you want to coach that Phoenix team. Because if they
Well,
lose,
I'll give you somebody. Mike Budenholzer.
That might make sense. Yeah.
I think that'd be a great look for them. And of course, I ain't get into Charlotte, but JJ Redick trying to get in that coaching ring too.
I might give you another one.
I know you're not. Don't.
Let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait.
Ishbia is a very aggressive. What is he, the owner? And so
yeah,
I think it's cooked if they lose, if they get swept. What is it a close game right now? I don't know. What's the score? But
77 all.
Okay, yeah. So regardless, if they get swept, maybe even losing 5, like it's coming. He's gonna figure out somebody to blame. It's not gonna be him. So he's probably gonna put the hammer down on Frank Vogel.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And I wouldn't be surprised at all with how that goes. So again, I think that what do you guys think about this Knicks series? Do you think the 76ers are able to make anything of it? And then I'll ask you this, and I don't want to talk about the Bucks and disappointment, but again, the Bucks and Sixers are both on the ropes right now, 3-1. It's going to go. Is that series is going to go back to New York with a chance to close that one out? How disappointing of a season would this be for Philadelphia? And again, I look at the Bucks. I know people talk about the Bucks and everything is going on, and that's why JT, when we talk about this and we look at this and we talk about disappointment and how it feels, if you're the Philadelphia 76ers, the Bucks at the very least they don't have their guys. I get Embiid is hurt, but he's not hurt enough to where he can't play. Like, Embiid is out there. And again, that's another guy. You talk about the Olympics. Ain't no way if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers, I would look at Embiid and think he should be playing in the Olympics. Not a chance. But again, the 76ers are on their way to losing again. They have Maxey. They have their guys. They're missing. Again, I know Joel Embiid is on a bad wheel, but how disappointing would this be for Philadelphia now? You fired Doc Rivers. You blame Doc Rivers for everything that's happened with Philadelphia, and now you get eliminated in the first round this year. Talk about a team that needs to blow it up. Like, that's a team. Again, a guy like Tobias Harris, could he be used on the Bucks? Like, that's what I'm talking. Like a guy like think about it. Think about a guy like that, right? Who I think Philly's got to be done with.
And that's season wrap up. That's a great conversation. That's a great topic where you talk about who's in, who's out, who could be a target, who should be a target, who's out. How will we make that work, right? That's that turned into a very interesting conversation. But I'll say this. I think for the 76ers, it's more of the same, right? Different coach, same stuff. And that's exactly what you're seeing here if they are out. Yeah, I get it that Embiid has been hurt, but you're right. He is on the court. And 3-1 with your stars there, that's unacceptable, right? Even if guys are injured, especially because you brought in Nick Nurse to do this and more of the same. I would be extremely disappointed if I'm a Philly fan and they lose 4-1 to the Knicks.
To me, they've struggled with the same things in the postseason. It's either Embiid's hurt, not going to show up, or the role players are just terrible. And it's been kind of the story for the 76ers for the past couple of years. And I just don't know how you can run it back and expect things to just all of a sudden change regardless of who you're able to get in the offseason. So, yeah, man, you got to blow it up. I think the Knicks easily take this one at home. They're just locked in. They're playing good defense, and they're playing more as a team. Jalen Brunson is really doing his job as well, scoring the basketball. So it's tough. It's tough for the Sixers. They'll probably have to blow it up for sure.
Yeah, and PV just got a technical foul, so get him up out of here. Got to paint PV. You're done. Mac for a better tomorrow says, who is taking any Bucks players next year? Sixers and Bucks will be the same team. And then who has missed more playoff games? Giannis or Embiid? Embiid is hurt, but he plays. Who has missed more? Damn, this chat is maybe this has been the worst chat. This has been the worst chat of the year. There's no question about this been the worst chat of the year. Who has missed more games in the playoffs? Giannis or Embiid? Embiid is hurt, but he plays. Tell me how many times Embiid's been out the second round. Tell me that. Tell me how many rings Embiid has. Tell me how many finals MVPs Embiid has. Shut up. I don't. Come on. I'm not even wasting energy on it. So when Embiid Embiid just put up 50 in the first round, somehow talking about that to when Embiid puts up 50 in an NBA Finals closeout game, then compare him to Giannis. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
And don't
Ty
let
says
that,
Giannis.
there's a lot of good apples in there in the chat.
Well, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. And Ty says Giannis played 4% of playoff minutes in the last 2 postseasons. Let me tell you how many finals minutes Embiid has played in his career. You know how many he's played? The same as us. The same as me. I done been in the finals as much as Embiid has. None. So I don't want. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
How many Eastern Conference Finals minutes has Embiid played?
Right. Get out the second. Philly fan, you can't. If anybody talking about Embiid, you can't say anything until you get out the second round. The process has been an absolute failure. Absolute failure. State of mind says people still mad we didn't pick Nurse even though he withdrew from Nick. Nick Nurse. You know what's crazy? That's your boy's ring. That's my man's ring. What's my boy? Kawhi, but that's Dwayne Casey's ring. He's sitting there with Dwayne Casey's ring on his finger. But man, he ain't. I'm not saying Nick Nurse is not a good coach, but he's a slightly above average basketball coach. That's all Nick Nurse is, and it sounds like he needs Adrian Griffin back on his staff because they about to lose. He's about to get less out of that team than Doc Rivers gets. So Nick Nurse, all this twerking for Nick Nurse, man, I'm not with it. Not with it at all. Nick Nurse is a slightly above average coach. It is what it is. And he won a ring. He won a ring because Pop gift wrapped him a ring and sent Kawhi out to Toronto, and Kawhi didn't even want to be there. So come on, man, dude ain't like that.
Twerking for Nick Nurse.
And all these Bucks fans twerking. They out there twerking for Nick Nurse, man. Why did they get Nick Nurse? But he out in the front. He in the same place the Bucks are. Don't want to hear it.
It's just a weird expression talking about fans twerking for a player or a coach, but I get it, right? Because I just feel like that. I don't know. It just implies that grown men trying to make that thing clap for.
The way you said it was like.
Hey, I mean, listen. I'm not trying to be zesty here. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about people twerking for a coach, it's just a weird expression. Is all I'm saying. Like you're right. Trying to make it, on a handstand, he's wilding.
Hey,
like,
yo, you just see,
hey, y'all right. When you say that though, he twerking for that man. I don't know about that. I can't get there. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Ty, man, you gotta get in that Stella Rosa. All right, man. He says the red wine sucks. Iron Man says y'all really are the Paul City crossover. Okay, I'm done, man. It's getting late, man. It's getting late. It's almost midnight around the East Coast. So yeah, man. It's 126-113 loss. Again, we appreciate everybody for joining us. The Pacers did get the dub. They're up 3-1. We'll wrap this up. Last question as we wrap this thing up. What happened Tuesday night? What are we? I just want to let everybody know. So we'll have a Bucks and 60 on Monday, and then I believe we have another Bucks and 60 on Wednesday. After this, but Tuesday night when we get on here for the Cream City crossover, and again those Bucks and 60s are on 973 The Game and 1070 Game in Madison, Wisconsin, worldwide iHeartRadio. When we get on here on Tuesday night. What are we talking about? Are we talking about the end of the Bucks season? Are we talking about this thing being over? Are we making more production meetings for the offseason plans for the Cream City crossover? Or are we talking about how this thing's about to go back to Indy and there's a lot of momentum field behind it? Like what are we talking about? Give me your crystal ball, predict the future for what we're talking about Tuesday night.
I think we get a dub on Tuesday night, right? I think we get a win on Tuesday night. I think and replace think with hope.
For me, look, I think that the best thing the Bucks have going for them is that they haven't had the type of game that the Pacers had tonight, where they've just knocked down what it seems like every three that they take. And so hopefully you get that. You get the home crowd behind you. Maybe you get one of Damian Lillard, and this could be a positive post-game show heading into 6. So, look, I think it'll be positive vibes. I think we get a dub. That's 100%
I'm hope.
biased.
Yeah.
The whole thing's biased, but go ahead.
I'm hoping. I'll say this: if Dame plays, I think they win. I think if Dame's involved, I think the Bucks get the dub, and I'm with you on that. So we'll see how this thing turns out on Tuesday night. And again, if you win that, then it's a totally different conversation. If you're going back to Indy 3-2, because I don't know why. I have a feeling that Giannis shoots up Thursday if they get it back 3-2. This is a funny tweet I just saw here from NBA at NBA Wood. He says Bobby Portis calling the Pacers front runners. Then as soon as things get tough for him and his team, he cracks and gets himself kicked out of the game. Peak irony. And I think that's a Pacers fan, but I totally disagree. I mean, I totally agree. Like that is, yeah, it is. I mean, 100%. I can't even disagree with that. Calling people front runners, and then you get yourself kicked out of a game, as soon as it starts with nobody there. I mean, it's just, again, stupidity from Bobby Portis. And again, I don't care what he does the rest of the series. I think I'm hoping that this is his last year in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. I'm done with him. We done with Bobby Portis. 126-113. Bucks are down 3-1 in the series. Again, we appreciate everybody for watching and listening to the Cream City crossover. Again, man, you guys done a fantastic job as always. Again, worst chat of the year, but again, there's a lot of I'm just saying there's a lot of bad apples here in the chat, but y'all did what y'all could do. So again, we appreciate everybody for watching and listening to the Cream City crossover as you always do. Come check us out again Tuesday night. Follow, subscribe, all of that to our YouTube channel, Cream City Crossover. We greatly appreciate all the likes, the follows, all of that. It really helps us out. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend about the Cream City Crossover. I want to thank our sponsors, Law Office of Daily M. Johnson. When you need defense, where?
Off the court.
608-893-8370.
70.
Law Office of Daily M. Johnson. If you have any troubles within the state of Wisconsin, please call Law Office Daily M. Johnson. We also want to thank our sponsors, Autograph, the app Autograph. Go to app Autograph. Everything's there. One-stop shop for all Bucks fans. And you go to that Autograph app. You can find cool prizes, everything there. And use our referral code, Cream City Crossover. Once you hit the Autograph app, we greatly appreciate it. Again, all of that helps us out. Again, anything else before we jump up out of here?
Man, quite honestly, I need the Bucks to pull this thing out on Tuesday, man. I like jumping on here with y'all and rapping to people for even a nice with a chat gets a little spicy or things get a little crazy, man. So come on, Bucks, let's figure this out, right? Pay again, time for everybody to earn their paycheck from the top down.
Bucks and 7.
Bucks and 7, okay. And then just to answer, Mac for Better Tomorrow asked if Bobby Portis is going to be suspended the game. Now, he didn't throw any punches, so I don't think he's going to be suspended at all. I think he should be suspended. He'll be back. And hopefully he plays well. We'll see how he goes. So hopefully he can contain himself. But yeah, man. Again, this was fun. Had some fun tonight. We'll have some fun again on Tuesday night. Again, no matter what happens, we appreciate it. This has been a Cream City Media Group production. If we are your enemy, it's only because we dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wooden nickels. Courage.